Well, a very, very happy Monday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We're live on all three platforms, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I do have a programming announcement today. We'll have our regular shows this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll have a show next Monday, and then I'm going to be off the remainder of the week. And the reason I'm going to be off, I'll still be working. I'm going to be on assignment. I've been hired by the Big West Conference to be the lead analyst for ESPN Plus broadcast for the Big West Championships at Cal State Fullerton. So it's going to be tough. I'm going to be doing a lot of baseball in a short period of time. The tournament starts on Wednesday morning, at noontime, and then I'll have two games on Thursday, two games on Friday, and two games on Saturday. So I'm going to be working quite a bit, but I'm very excited about getting hired by the Big West to do the color analyst of their baseball championships. And so we'll only have one show next week, and that'll be on Monday. It'll be, as usual, a live show, and we'll wrap up the weekend series against the Seattle Mariners. Padres next week after they play Seattle, they'll go on the road and they'll start that series in Toronto. A lot to get to. It was a big weekend. Of course, the Padres, they take 2 out of 3 in Colorado, but man, I thought after what they did on Saturday night, bludgeoning Buddy Black's ball club 21-0, I figured they'd come out, swing the hot shillelagh on Sunday, and have a happy flight home. Unfortunately, Herman Marquez really shut him down. He gave up a run in the first inning, and that's all he gave up in the remaining time that he was out on the mound. Here's a guy that came in with over a 10 ERA and was 0-6 on the year, picks up his first win of the year. But, I want to get back to kind of where the Padres are at right now. They're sitting at 25-14. They finish up the road trip at 6-3. Now here, and I want your opinion on this. We had said when the Padres went out on the road, if they could have a 6-3 road trip, it'd be fantastic. But they come home with a 6-3 road trip, and I'm saying, you know what? They left 2 games out there on the field they should have won. They should have won that last game against the Yankees. They should have won the rubber game. They had a great effort by Dylan Cease, and they couldn't close it, and they got beaten 10 innings. So they dropped the rubber game there. And then yesterday, I mean, very well, the Padres could have had an 8-1 road trip. In a worst case scenario, maybe 7-2, but they come home 6-3. And you know what? We have to be happy about that for a couple of reasons. Number one, you've gotten Jackson Merrill back in the lineup. You've gotten Jay Cronenworth back in the lineup, and Stephen Kolek is pitching out of his mind. Here's a guy that had a 7+ ERA down in the minor leagues. He's made 2 starts and hasn't given up a run, and he throws a complete game the other night on Saturday night. I kept waiting for Mike Shildt to come get him. But nonetheless, the Padres are sitting at 25-14. They're a game back of the Dodgers right now, and they're playing good baseball. They really are. They just got to stay healthy. But, a couple of things to remind you of. Padres starting the series tonight against the Angels. We'll talk about the Angels. I watched the Angels quite a bit. Growing up in San Diego, when I grew up, there was no Padre baseball at the major league level till 1969. So I started following the Angels. Dad took me up there. First game I ever saw, July 30th, 1966. Angels against the Cleveland Indians. Tom Satriano drove in the game-winning run in the bottom of the 9th inning off of Gary Bell, and that was my first big league game. And then, of course, when the Padres came into an existence, I kind of forgot about the Angels. And, I still kind of look out of the corner of my eye what they're doing, and they're not very good. They play hard for Ron Washington, but they're not real good. This is a team, and we said this last year, and the Padres went up there and played bad baseball, and the Angels outplayed them. And one thing about the Angels, they're going to play hard for Ron Washington. They got some young guys. They got some veterans. The young guys are playing better than the veterans right now, but we'll get into that a little bit later on in the program. I do want your questions today. There's a lot of things to talk about, and most of them are good, but, there's no perfect team. There really is no perfect team. I don't care how good everybody says the Dodgers are. They're not a perfect team. They got their warts too. And the Padres have some warts, but their biggest wart is out in left field. What are they going to do with left field? I mean, I think the easy answer would be to put Gavin Sheets out there and just let him play, not let him be the DH, let him play left field. And then you can figure out what you want to do with Cronenworth and Iglesias and Vries. You want to make Vries the full-time DH. You put Cronenworth at first base, and Iglesias becomes your everyday second baseman. The guy plays great defense, and I think if he played all the time, probably get that bat going a little bit better. Or you could leave Vries at first, Cronenworth at second, and let Iglesias be the DH a high percentage of the time. They got to figure out what they're doing in left field. Right now, Jason Hayward got a couple of home runs, 12 RBIs, hitting 181. And at times he looks like a guy that's played 15 years in the big leagues, not running that well. Once he gets going, he's okay, but it takes him a while to kind of get rolling. So I don't know. They're going to have to do something, I think, by the trading deadline for left field. They've got to upgrade that position. And Jason Hayward's had a hell of a major league career, but man, Father Time is undefeated. We know that. But, kind of just getting back to the series and recapping it. Friday night, Padres won it 13-9, but they had a huge lead. And they gave up a ton of runs, and they had to go to Robert Suarez. I mean, they're up by 11 runs, and they had to go to Robert Suarez to get the final 2 outs for his 15th save. I mean, Randy Vasquez pitched well. At Coors Field, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He had a walk, 5 strikeouts, gave up 2 home runs. So what? The thing that I liked about it was he went in there and didn't nibble. He went in there and pounded that strike zone. In fact, 95 pitches, 66 strikes. That's a good percentage. You would, in a perfect world, you'd like it to be about anywhere from 66 to 69% pounding the strike zone. Well, he was right there. And that's a good effort. He goes to 2-3, drops his ERA down to 3.76. The bullpen, Sean Reynolds, having a tough time so far after being called up. 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, and Wandy Peralta had a miserable road trip. I mean, just a miserable road trip. A third of an inning the other night, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs. Alec Jacob came in. He's been pretty solid, but he had a rough night. A third of an inning, 2 hits, a run, and then they had to bring in Robert Suarez. Gavin Sheets, a big night, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. Manny, 3 for 4, his 13th double and RBI. And Jackson Merrill, 3 for 5, a double and 2 RBIs. Padres win that thing 13-9. Both teams had 16 hits on Friday night as well. And then Saturday, I didn't even write down all the offense. The Padres tied their franchise record for most hits in a game with 24. That was the biggest shutout win in Padre history. Their previous was a number of years ago against Cincinnati when they whitewashed the Reds 13-0, but 21-0. I got home and it was 16-0. I was out and about and I got home and I walked in, turned on the TV, 5th inning at 16-0. I go, you got to be kidding me. What the hell happened here? And then they just kept going. 21-0. They out-hit the Rockies that night, 24-5. And get this, you talk about up your batting average with runners in scoring position. How about Saturday night? They were 10 for 19 with runners in scoring position. And Kolek goes a complete game, 5 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, ERA at 0.00. He has made 2 starts, 14 1/3 innings, and he hadn't given up anything. And great play by Jake Cronenworth when the Padres were up 16-0, making a great diving play. Here's a guy that just got back on the active roster on Friday night, and he's diving and making a play, throwing the runner out at first to save a run and save the shutout for Kolek when it's a 16-0 game. That's all you need to know about Jake Cronenworth. That was a hell of an effort by him. Padres blasted 5 homers that night. Jackson Merrill went 4 for 6. 2 RBIs. Wow. What a ball game for the Padres. And yeah, that had to be miserable. I know it's miserable for the manager who ended up getting fired. And we're going to talk about Buddy getting fired here in a few minutes. But the fans on a Saturday night, I don't know, they have fireworks after the game. A lot of the fans actually stayed. I couldn't believe it. Maybe they wanted to see if the Padres could score 30 runs. And then yesterday, Padres get beat 9-3. German Marquez, he lowered his ERA yesterday. He went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, a walk, 2 strikeouts. Gave up that first inning run. Didn't give up anything afterwards. He lowered his ERA to 8.27. It was over 10 coming in. He was 0-6. Now he's 1-6. Through 78 pitches, 51 strikes. Nick Pivetta did not have it yesterday. 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 3-run bomb in the first inning by Hunter Goodman, who ended up going 3 for 5. He also added a 2-run double, 5 RBIs in all, and I'm sure he was the post-game guest on their radio network. But disappointing loss yesterday, 9-3 to the Rockies and German Marquez. But you know what? That's baseball. That's what happens. That's baseball. It just happens. There's no. It always comes down to who's on the mound. And Marquez was better than Pivetta yesterday. And then I was just looking at some numbers. Fernando hitting 320 right now. Manny Machado, a great road trip, hitting 324. Gavin Sheets, who batting average had dipped down in the 280s, he got hot during the road trip. He's hitting 304. Man, what a road trip though. 6-3. I'm going to take the 6-3, but I'm still pissed because they could have been 7-2 or even 8-1. And we had somebody ask me the other day, what about the Padres? They're beating up on the bad teams, but they struggled against the Yankees, and hey, they beat the Giants. Giants are a good ball club. Padres are a damn good team. Padres one of the top 2 or 3 teams in baseball. I'm telling you that right now. But again, we got a long ways to go, and guys have to stay healthy. And that's a big, big part of it. Because when we look right now in the Padre farm system, we've already seen Oscar Gonzalez. Oh, by the way, we saw Connor Joe for 9 at-bats in his Padre uniform. He got traded to Cincinnati for right-hander pitcher over the weekend, Andrew Moore. And Andrew Moore is a guy 30 years old, hasn't really pitched a lot of innings, 148 innings in his big league or in his minor league career. Just a throw-in guy. He's a power arm. He got a good arm. There's no doubt about it. Pitched at Oregon State, pitched on some of those great teams up at Oregon State. But Connor Joe, maybe he'll get an opportunity in Cincinnati. But it wasn't going to work out here in San Diego. He 0 for 9. I think he had 1 walk, but, just didn't perform. And was doing okay in AAA, nothing off the chart. So we wish Connor well. He's a good guy, and he's overcome a lot in his life, a cancer survivor. So we wish him the very, very best. Okay, let's talk a few minutes here about Jackson Merrill. We're going to get into Cronenworth. But right now, I want to get to you fans out there because everybody's got an opinion on this ball club and where they're at right now. 1 game back of the Dodgers, and they can whittle that down to a half game tonight because the Dodgers are idle before Oakland comes in, or Sacramento, or no, the Athletics. Oakland, Sacramento, the Athletics. And we're going to call them the Athletics, okay? Mark Kotze doing a really nice job with that ball club, by the way. And they're going to be here at Petco before too long. We'll look forward to seeing them. Let's get to our coach's mailbag right now and all the questions you fans have thrown out there. Let's see what we got today. All right, T-Fuel. What are your thoughts on King and Cease getting re-signed before the season ends? Slim and none. Michael King's already signed, but he's got a mutual option for next year. I'm sure he'll decline that option. Padres will have to give him a $3.5 million buyout, I believe it is, off the top of my head. And then they could re-sign him. They very well could re-sign him. I think if they're going to re-sign one of the two, it's going to be Michael King. He's much more consistent. I think Cease becomes an unrestricted free agent. That's the way I look at it. And from the way they pitched really the last 2 years, I think you got to go with King, don't you? I want your opinion on that. Anybody out there, you got an opinion? Do you want to keep King or Cease? I want to keep King. I love Cease, but he's just inconsistent. But thank you very much, T-Fuel. Appreciate that. Okay, what else we got here? Let's keep these questions coming in today. Coach, does baseball have enough good pitchers to go 12 innings nowadays, considering how they pitch? Maybe move the ghost runner to first instead of second to not give the home team such an advantage. Well, 2 things. I don't, if they're going to have a ghost runner, let's put them on first base. Okay, I'm with you on that. I think that would work. But I'm going to tell you, if you don't have a pitching staff that can go extra innings, then we got some real problems on developing ball players and developing pitchers down in the minor leagues. They already baby these guys way too much. Explain this to me. Can somebody please explain this to me? Why do pitchers break down more now than they did years ago when they pitch less? Can anybody explain that to me? And I know the first, well, they throw harder. There are guys that back in the day, Steve Carlton never went on the IL. I mean, Steve Carlton threw heat. Bob Gibson threw heat. Sandy Koufax, he had an arthritic elbow, but he threw heat. Don DeRisdale threw heat. There were a lot of guys that threw heat, but those guys knew how to pitch. They knew how to add and subtract. I mean, seriously, when they develop pitchers in the minor league, I think they're doing a lot of things wrong. I think you got to go back to some of the old school. You got to do a lot more running to build up leg strength for starting pitchers. You got to throw bullpens more consistently. It's like the Braves. I mean, how many times did Smoltz, and I realize Smoltz had a Tommy John surgery once upon a time, but Glavine stayed healthy, Maddox stayed healthy, and I know those are an anomaly because those guys are Hall of Famers. But those guys used to throw two bullpens in between starts. One was your typical bullpen. The other was kind of a touch and feel change, speeds, and they wouldn't always go max effort. That's the problem. All these pitchers, especially the relief guys, they're max effort guys. They go out there and they throw the ball as hard as they possibly can. And if guys could go 18 innings years ago in extra inning games, not the pitchers necessarily, but if you could run a pitching staff out there for 17 innings, hey, why can't you do it today? Because the guys have been babied. And yeah, I know now you got to look at what you're going to do, who's going to go down to the minor leagues, and you got to make some roster moves, get some fresh arms up. That's baseball. And the other thing, I think moving the ghost runner, if you're going to have a ghost runner, which I don't like at all, and I never will, move him to first base. I agree with you on that. I think that would be good. I could deal with that. I still wouldn't like it, but I could deal with that a little bit better. But you got to go out and pitch. And that's where a manager comes in. How's he going to maneuver? How's the pitching go? How are they going to work that out? Hey, I sat there and watched a 22-inning game against the Colorado Rockies. And I did the post-game show that night. I walked out of the ballpark at 2:15 in the morning, and both ball clubs had to head out on road trips that night. It was crazy, but I was there for 22 innings. Got signed off the post-game show at 2:15 in the morning. I remember I gave Claire Meredith, who was with the Padres at the time, I gave his girlfriend my jacket because she was freezing in the outfield, and I was waiting to do the post-game show. But you know what? I love baseball. I'm a purist when it comes to it. I think the pitch clock has been absolutely fantastic. I think it's really added a lot to the game. But I don't like the leadoff. When you try to pick a guy off, you'll go over there twice. The third time it'd be a balk if you didn't get him. I don't like that. But I also think teams have to take advantage of that. And I think a lot of teams have taken advantage of the run game. Because the analytics were so big, hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Nobody wanted to take a chance of getting thrown out. Now you got a much better chance to steal a base. And all these stolen base things that are going on, these records need to be looked at very closely going forward. Because Ricky Henderson may have stole 200 bases under this rule. Seriously, he may have stole 200 bases under this rule. But I appreciate that. That's a good question there. What else we got today? Keep them rolling. Casey King, coach, is a Dodger fan. Hear what you think about outfield prospect Ryan Ward. I think Dodgers should call him up and send James Outman down. Outman, I don't, is cutting it. Your thought, well, Outman's not cutting it. Outman's completely lost it. And I will tell you this, I know a lot about hitting. And I've worked with guys for a long time that are hitters. And I still talk to guys on the telephone. I don't necessarily go out and work with guys in the batting cage like I once did, but I get phone calls from people. And they'll send me tape and I'll look at their swing. And I watch Outman. To me, Outman, two things with him. Number one, well, three things. Number one, he goes into the plate hoping to hit the ball now. He wasn't even tearing it up really in AAA. I know he had a couple of good games, but he's not really tearing it up in AAA the way he should for his ability. But the thing with Outman, now he's walking in, he doesn't have a lot of confidence. He's not a lot of times swinging at strikes. But the biggest thing, and I noticed this last year, and I'm really surprised the Dodgers haven't tried to change him. Maybe he's not coachable, but he's using his arms in his swing rather than using his hands. If he'd start using his hands, he'd start driving the ball a little bit. To me, nothing's ever easy with hitters because a lot of stuff gets in between their ears and you got to kind of untwine that. But Outman, to me, could be a heck of a hitter, but he's trying to do too much with his arms, and then there's that uncertainty at the plate, and he's swinging at bad pitches. Ryan Ward, I'll be honest with you, Casey, I don't know a lot about him. I've heard good things. I've heard that maybe I know a lot of the Dodger fans would like him to get called up, but again, I've not seen him play, but I've gotten good reports on him, and we'll see what the Dodgers are going to end up doing. But this is really, I think, Outman's last chance with the Dodgers. I mean, 2 years ago, he was really good. He was in the Rookie of the Year voting. He was right up there. Last year, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. This year, he's hitting under 100 right now. And I know he doesn't have a lot of at bats, but he looks terrible at the plate. But he got to use his hands more than his arms in his swing. That's what I got for you. Casey, thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. Okay, what else we got? Keep them rolling here. All right, Cantalupus. What do we do with Wandy? Boy, that's a good question. He got off to a good start. Last year I think he finished with a 3.99 ERA, which I thought was pretty good because he had to pitch really well down the stretch to get it to 3.99. But now his ERA just ballooned. I didn't write it down today, but it's way over 6. He had a terrible road trip, absolutely terrible road trip. And you know what? Padres got him under control contract-wise for another year. They gave him a 3-year contract, which I thought was kind of odd. But again, you like to have left-handers in the bullpen, but man, he's having his struggles right now. That bullpen did not have a good road trip, needless to say. They did not have a good road trip. I don't know what they're going to do with Wandy Peralta. Hopefully get him back on track. Hopefully get him some opportunities in non-pressure situations, see if he can kind of find his game again. But no, he wasn't good. He wasn't good at all. But thank you very much for that question. What else we got here? Rich McGuire. The Pirates fire their manager after the Padres left town, then Buddy gets fired too. Padres on a tear. Well, probably a good time, Rich, to talk a little bit about Buddy. First of all, Derek Shelton, I'm not surprised he got fired. I watched his ball club. They were playing lethargic baseball, a lot of mental mistakes for guys that were a lot of veterans. And not long-time veterans, but guys that have been around and know how to play. And I saw that coming. I told my wife when we were watching that one Pirates game, I go, this guy's going to get fired here. These guys they're not responding to him. As far as Buddy Black, everybody knows Buddy's a very close personal friend of mine. We had Thomas Harding on Friday, and we talked about Buddy. We talked about the Colorado Rocky organization as we gave you, I thought, a very nice preview of the Rockies. I said last night, Bob Nightingale, Buddy got fired like 10 minutes after the game. At least while they let him go out on a win. 7-33 this year for Buddy Black. And I got his career record with Colorado, 544, 689. Got him to the postseason 2 years in a row as a wild card. Got to the second round one of those years. With the Padres, he was 649 and 713. And by the way, the 544 wins as manager of the Rockies is a franchise record. I said to Bob Nightingale on his tweet last night, they did him a favor. I talked to Kirk McCaskill and Charles Nagy, two guys that had pretty damn good careers a week ago. And I think I shared this last week on the podcast. I said, God, have you guys talked to Buddy? None of us wanted to text him because, man, what are you going to say? Hey, keep your head up. I mean, here's a guy that's been around baseball since his early 20s, signing out of San Diego State. And the guy loves the game. He's a brilliant man, brilliant baseball man, an out-of-the-box thinker. He's going to be 69 years of age here soon. And I got to tell you, this guy is sharp as a tack. And I had people tweet me. I did the Strike Force game last night. They beat Northern Arizona. And I got people tweeting me, hey, did you hear Buddy got fired? Did you hear Buddy got fired? I go, yeah, I heard Buddy got fired. And a couple guys, do you think the Padres would hire him as a special assistant? I go, I don't know. I don't know what his relationship is with A.J. Preller. I would imagine, but he's probably got a good relationship with A.J. Preller. They were at my Christmas party together last year. Extending congratulatory, Buddy congratulating A.J. on a great year and all that good stuff. And, I mean, Buddy's been around the game. He knows the way the game works. And I don't know if Colorado's going to keep him on as an advisor or keep him off working with Bill Schmidt, the general manager. But I know this. If Buddy Black wants to stay in baseball. I don't know if he'll get another managerial job, but you know what? Any front office would be very wise to hire this man. He is a sharp guy. And like I said to Thomas Harding last week, Buddy's the only guy I've ever met in baseball. There was a manager that could be everything. Not all at one time, but he could manage the ball club. He could definitely be a general manager, but he doesn't want to work 365 days a year. Okay, he loves putting that uniform on. He loves being down there in the dugout with the troops and all the pregame stuff. I mean, if you watch him on a field before a game, he's like a kid in Little League. He plays first base. He's out talking to his players, trying to build their confidence. Talking to whoever he needs to talk to on that given day. The guy is able to turn the page. And him and I had kind of a fun thing when he was managing the Padres because I've known him since he was at San Diego State. And I remember one time I was working with a pitcher at Earl Warren Junior High School, a right-handed pitcher, pretty good pitcher, high school kid. And there's this guy leaning on the fence over there. And he just leaning on the fence, didn't come on the field, just leaning on the fence, watching what I'm doing with this guy. And I look over and it's Buddy Black. And his daughter at the time was playing basketball on the cement courts over there at Earl Warren Junior High School. And I walked over, hey, buddy, what's up? He goes, oh, man, that pitcher looks pretty good, John. I go, well, we're working on his delivery, working on a couple other things. He goes, he looks good. And I go, well, thanks. I appreciate that. But then he becomes the manager of the Padres, and I was really excited because he came in after Bruce Bochy, and I had a great relationship with Boch and Buddy. But every night, and same with Boch, I would always ask them about what pitchers were hot that night and which guys weren't going to pitch. Because on the post-game show, if they did something different, it backfired, people would call in, hey, what the hell is Bochy doing? Or what's Black doing? How come he didn't bring in this guy? Well, some nights those guys couldn't pitch. They'd maybe pitched 2 out of 3 nights or 3 out of 4 nights. And Boch would always say, well, I don't want a guy to have surgery. And with Buddy, I would go to him and go, hey, who's hot tonight? And he would tell me, and he goes, hey, he'd always point at me. He goes, remember, it's tough to win a Major League Baseball game. I go, I know that. It's hard to win any type of game. But baseball is just a unique sport. And it's hard to win at any level. You got to have pitching. I don't care what anybody says. You got to have pitching. You got to be able to play defense. You can find a way a lot of times to scrap and claw for runs. But, man, you got to shut people down. But anyways, Buddy Black could be the manager, he could be the general manager, or he could be the face of your franchise as the president of the ball club because he's that type of guy. He knows how to deal with people and he knows how to treat people. And not everybody's like that. He's a very special human being, I can tell you that. And I don't know what his future is. Maybe, he's got 2 daughters that are married. He's got grandkids now, got a beautiful wife that he's been married to forever. And he may just come home and play golf every day here in San Diego. He still lives here in San Diego. He got plenty of golf partner. A lot of guys want to play golf with Buddy Black. He's got a lot of friends. So I think baseball is a little bit less today because Buddy Black doesn't have, quote unquote, a job right now. But I'm sure if he wants to get back in, he'll get back in. Every organization he has ever touched as a player, coach, or manager always has fond thoughts of Buddy Black and his baseball knowledge and the way he deals with ball players. So that's my take on Buddy. But Rich, thank you very much. What else we got here? Okay, we got to get to the Ethan Salas, Leo DeVries update. I got to talk about Jackson, Merrill, and Cronenworth today too. But I'm going to get you the update right now on Leo DeVries and on Ethan Salas. Okay, Ethan Salas. Padres aren't saying anything, but I got to be honest with you. I'm getting a little concerned here. And the reason I'm concerned is because he's not played since April 17th. He had back spasms. So I'm sure they're doing, stretching him out, doing exercises to strengthen him up. But he's only played in 10 games, 32 at bats, hitting 188 with a double and 5 RBIs. And again, hasn't played since April 17th. That's not good when you're a catcher. It's not good when you're any type of ball player, let alone a catcher. So they got to be very careful with him. He'll turn 19 on June 1st. But man, I'm like I've said, and I'm going to stand behind it. I'm a big Ethan Salas fan. He got to get that bat going. But right now, you got to get healthy. He's been out almost a month. And I haven't heard any updates that he's getting any better. They initially put him on the 7-day IL, and he's still on the IL right now. Now, Leo Vries playing in Fort Wayne, and I always like to mention this just to show you where this kid's at. He's the youngest kid playing in the Midwest League right now. So far, he's played in 27 games, 104 at bats. He's hitting 289 with a 375 on base percentage. Got 6 doubles, 3 triples, 4 homers, 21 RBIs, doing a hell of a job. And last week, he was named the Midwest League Player of the Month. Not a bad start for the youngest kid in the league. First month you're in the high A ball, being the Player of the Month. So keep it up, Leo. We love it. Love to hear it. Hey, I want to back up here, and I want to get to Jackson, Merrill, and Cronenworth for a minute. Okay, both these guys coming off the IL. Take a look at Jackson Merrill. He came off the IL last week. He was scratched Sunday, stomach bug. I don't know whether or not he'll be in the lineup tonight or not. We'll have to wait and see. They may give him another night off with Kikuchi pitching for the Angels. But Jackson Merrill, how about this road trip? 579. He was 11-19, 2 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs. And for the series in Colorado, he only played 2 games. How about 6 for 11, a double, and 4 RBIs? Guy's just absolutely on fire right now. To me, it seems like he's played more than 14 games this year, but he's played in only 14 games. 56 at bats. He's hitting 446 with a 1208 OPS, 4 doubles, 4 homers, 16 RBIs. Man, what a ball player. And you know what? I don't know how many at bats he's going to have before the All-Star break, but I was thinking about this. I don't know why I think about these things some days. But I said last week, maybe 6 guys would make it. Well, Pivetta, I'm taking Pivetta off the All-Star list right now. We'll see how he finishes up. I wasn't happy with his effort yesterday. But I think we got 5 for sure. I think we got 2 outfielders, Tatis and Merrill. And Merrill have enough of games in his average. I mean, crying out loud, he's hitting over 400 right now. And I realize it's only 14 games, but he's on fire. Tatis is hitting 320. And driving the ball and doing a little bit of everything right now. Manny going to the All-Star game this year. Robert Suarez is going to the All-Star game. And I think Michael King will probably go to the All-Star game. Pavetta's got a shot, no doubt about it. But, he doesn't have maybe the name recognition of what Michael King did a year ago when he had a 2.95 ERA. Pavetta's doing a good job, no doubt about it. But I think getting 5 Padres, I'd be okay with that. That's kind of where I'm at. And then Jay Cronenworth coming off the IL with that displaced rib fracture in his right side. 3 for 10 in the series. Also walked 3 times, got hit 1 time, had a homer, 4 RBIs, hitting 267 with 3 homers and 9 RBIs. And, of course, he missed significant time with that rib fracture. So some good stuff right there with Jackson Merrill and Jay Cronenworth getting back on the beam. Okay, let's take a look here at the Angel series. Angels come in at 16-23, 5th in the American League West. That translates to being a last-place ball club. They got some good young players. They do, really. I like their catcher, Logan O'Hoppe. He's hitting 264. He got 9 homers, 18 RBIs. Zach Neto, their shortstop, a young kid. I got a late start due to an injury, hitting 268 with 4 homers, 8 RBIs, and 82 at bats. Nolan Shonwell, another good young guy that spent basically zero time in the minor leagues. 258 average, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, and 128 at bat. Those are nice players. Joe Adell, their former #1 draft pick, got 5 homers and 17 RBIs, but hitting a .194. Jorge Soler, who they signed during the offseason, hitting 233, 6 homers, 16 RBIs. Luis Rengifo, who they were counting on to give him some more offense, in 125 at bats right now. He's hitting 208. And Taylor Ward, who lost a fly ball in the sun yesterday against the Orioles, hitting 182, 8 homers, 17 RBIs. And I watched, I don't know, a game and a half, 2 games last week of the Angels. In those games, I saw 3 times Taylor Ward took fastballs right down the middle on 3-2 pitches for called strike 3. You got to swing the bat. And then they got back Yohan Moncada, the former White Sox, who's always had injuries. He came off the IL, hit a couple of homers last week, got 9 RBIs in 14 games, hitting 238. And of course, Mike Trout out again, bone bruise and a knee. And Trout was just having a miserable year. Yeah, he had 9 homers and 18 RBIs on 106 at bats, but he was hitting 179 with an on base percentage of 264. It's really sad, being a big baseball fan. And Mike Trout does a lot of things the right way. He does everything the right way. The way he deals with people, the media, the fans, great with the fans, great with the kids. But, he has missed so much time over the last 3 years. Um, it's starting to show just the rust of not playing day in and day out. And hopefully they're going to be able to get him back. I know he's been swinging the bat a little bit. He started a little bit of a running progression, I think, over the weekend. Nothing heavy, just light. And he's not going to be ready for this Padres series. But we're all being robbed because Mike Trout is so fun to watch play. I'm glad when I took my grandson a month or so ago, we went up there and saw them play Cleveland. And we got to see Mike Trout play. He got a hit, scored a run, ended up stealing a base. I wanted my grandson wanted to see Mike Trout play. That's the reason we went. And that was for his 7th birthday. Okay, let's take a look at the pitching matchups for this series. Some interesting matchups. Tonight at 6:40, and by the way, all 3 games are going to be played at 6:40. Angels going to go with the veteran left-hander Yusei Kikuchi. Now, Kikuchi's 0-4, hadn't won a game in an Angel uniform yet, but he's pitched pretty well. He's got a 3.83 ERA. He's going to go against the Padre right-hander Michael King, 4-1 and a 2.22 ERA. Tomorrow night, Tuesday at 6:40, it'll be right-hander Jose Soriano, 2-4 and a 4 ERA, going against Padre right-hander Dylan Cease, and hopefully that forearm cramp doesn't cramp up again. But he's good to go from what they're saying. He had to leave that last start, that great start against the Yankees, where he had a no-hitter going for 6 1/3, ended up having to leave with the forearm cramp. Padres ended up getting beat in extra innings. Dylan Cease 1-2 in a 4.91 ERA. And then the finale, remember the Padres have an off day on Thursday too, and then Seattle will come in. We'll start the Vetter Cup. Wednesday night at 6:40, it'll be right-hander Kyle Hendricks, the former Cub, 1-4 and a 5.30 ERA. Going against Padre right-hander Randy Vasquez, is pitching well, 2-3 in a 3.76 ERA. So those are the matchups. Tonight, Monday, Kikuchi against King. Tuesday night, Soriano against Cease. And Wednesday night, Hendricks against Vasquez. Okay, at this time, we have any more questions out there? Anybody else got questions you want to send to me today? I'll give you about 2 or 3 minutes. You can send a few more. Let's take a look at the National League West standings right now. See what we got here today. All right, Padres, a game back. Man, Dodgers series against the Diamond. It was a crazy series. They split the 4 games. Dodgers won yesterday. Freddie Freeman yesterday went 4 for 4. He's hitting, 376 right now. Mookie Betts homered yesterday. Tony Gonsolin looked really good. In fact, I watched a little bit of that game before I went and did the Strikeforce game. I got to tell you, man, Tony Gonsolin, I don't know if I've ever seen him pitch better. I thought his fastball's back, and he's not pitching like he did a couple of years ago before he ended up having Tommy John. He's humming the ball pretty good. He's looked good so far in his 3 starts for the Dodgers. But the Dodgers sitting at 27-14. They're off tonight. They open up a series against the Athletics tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium. Padres sitting at 25-14. San Francisco hanging in there at 24-17, 3 games back. Arizona 21-20. Arizona's got a good team. And Corbin Burns pitched really well over the weekend. They got to get him on track. Zach Gallen looked pretty good, and then the Dodgers ended up knocking him out of the box yesterday in the 6th inning. Ended up getting 10 hits off of him. Diamondbacks at 21-20, 6 games back, and then the Rockies 7-33, 19.5. Somebody asked me regarding the Rockies, what would you do if you could blow the Rockies up? Well, that's what I would do. You got to clean house. You got to change the entire philosophy, and you got to figure out of these young kids who are really keepers, and who are maybe starting to, I don't know, kind of level out, and you don't see where they're going to progress a whole lot. They've got so much to do. I mean, and really, it really starts, quite frankly, with the owner. You've got to have an owner, and Dick Monfort and his brother, they've not shown that they want to really spend money. I don't know exactly what their payroll is. I don't care. You could put Casey Stengel or Bobby Kai. You could put whoever you want in the dugout as the skipper. Now it's going to be Warren for Schaefer, their third base coach. He's going to take over. Clint Hurdle's going to go from being the interim hitting coach for a couple of weeks to now bench coach. We kind of saw that one coming. I thought maybe he'd be the manager, but you don't want to brutalize Clint Hurdle's career record. Um, but the Rockies, I mean, look at the division they're in, for crying out loud. I mean, I don't see light at the end of the tunnel for them, really, for the next 3 to 5 years. They're probably going to be a fifth place team for the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, they're not going to be better than the Diamondbacks. They're certainly not going to be better than the Giants, and absolutely not going to be better than the Padres or the Dodgers. I mean, you talk about an uphill battle. Holy Toledo. But they've got to get their structure together. They got to draft well, they got to develop, and they've got to get guys to the big league level and continue to teach. I remember when Clint Hurdle took that job, and they used to come in, and Bob Scanlon and I used to go down there and watch Clint Hurdle's ball club work in pregame. They worked as hard as any big league team I ever saw in pregame because Clint Hurdle was trying to teach those guys how to be big leaguers. But 7-33, for crying out loud, that's just absolutely awful. I mean, I don't care what kind of injuries you've got. You got to have enough of depth where you win a game every once in a while. I mean, they haven't even won one game a week, basically. So that's a rough one right there. But anyways, that's it. Okay, we got any other questions today? We got any other questions? Any other questions at all? There we go. Can the Cardinals make the playoffs? Yeah, they're playing better, and they're in a division where they, I think, can jump up there. They're playing much better. And if they don't make it this year, I think with a change, bringing in a new general manager who's already working in the organization, and John Mozeliak moving out, I think if Oliver Marmol, if he doesn't either make the playoffs or finish with a better than 500 record and showing improvement, then I think he's out. And I don't know. You think Albert Pujols would take that job? How about Yadier Molina? Yeah, I watched Albert Pujols last night. He was doing stuff on the MLB Network, and I know he's working. I think he's still got that personal service contract with the Angels, if I'm not mistaken. But he was on TV last night breaking down some games, and nice to see him out and about. He looks good. Looks real good. But yeah, the Cardinals are playing better. But again, they're going to have to climb over Milwaukee, and they're going to have to climb over the Cubs. I think the Cubs, even though I think the Cubs don't have a lot of great pitching, and of course they lost Steele, that left-hander, for the entire year, they can swing the bat. But it's a lot of pressure night in and night out for your offense to have to go out there and score 5 or 6 or 7 runs. So I don't know. The Cardinals are in the mix just because the wild card keeps everybody in the mix for a period of time. But until you get over that 500 mark, you're probably whistling Dixie. But I do think they have a puncher's chance to make the playoffs. We'll see how it goes. But thank you very much for that question. All right, another one. 6-man rotation by the end of the month. Why not? I have no problem with that. I think is careful as you have to be with the Padre pitching staff. And now Darvish. Padres have got it. Maybe we'll hear something today from Mike Schilt when he gets back home. Darvish has been throwing bullpens. They said he could go out on a rehab assignment this week. Not only a rehab assignment, we don't know where it'd be, and we don't know if it's going to be one rehab assignment or maybe 2. They're hoping to get him back here before the end of the month. And we're sitting, at the, what's the date today? The 12th? Yeah, I think it's the 12th today, if I'm not mistaken. And by the way, I hope all you moms out there had a great Mother's Day. We had a good weekend. We had a really good weekend. But, seriously, get Darvish back. Why not go to a 6-man rotation? And you know what? Kyle Hart down in AAA, he's not coming back anytime soon because of what Colett's getting done. But you know what? If you need to add another guy, just pitch Kyle Hart at home. He's unbelievable at home, and he's terrible on the road. So maybe he'll just be our designated home left-handed pitcher. His numbers at Petco Park are like Hall of Fame numbers. But on the road, they're terrible. So we'll see where it goes with him. But 6-man rotation, I'm not against it. They've been doing that in Japan forever. They've been doing that forever in Japan, and it's worked out well. They always have Mondays off, and they go back to work. So I don't have a problem with that at all. Okay, what else we got? Got any more today? Okay, I think we're done. All right. Remember, Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Friday morning, 9 a.m. We'll be here, and we'll take a look at the first two games of the Angels on Wednesday. And Friday, we'll get ready for the Seattle Mariners. And remember, next Monday will be our only show next week because I'm going to be doing the Big West Baseball Championships on ESPN Plus. But I'll be here on Wednesday morning. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Very much appreciate if you'd subscribe to the channel, like it, and please, more than anything else, I don't care whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, X, please send your questions and comments and concerns maybe about the ball club or anything going on really in San Diego sports, Southern California sports for that matter. I like to talk about it all, as all of you know I do. So thanks again for tuning in today. We'll talk to you again Wednesday morning. Enjoy the first two games. The Halos coming down the freeway to take on our San Diego Padres tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. We'll break down those first two games on Wednesday and continue the great baseball chatter and sports chatter on the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Bye-bye.